Chris Herron, clinically dead for 30 seconds after a heroin-fueled crash, or Jason Williams' all-star career ending with a single tragic gunshot that took another life. And the locker room standoff between Gilbert Arenas and Javaris Crittenton, where a gambling dispute escalated into a drawn firearms. Billy Ray Bates, Black Superman, robbing a gas station for cocaine money, or Darrell Allums, a college standout, preying on pizza delivery drivers. This video dives into the lives of players who didn't just lose their careers, they lost themselves. Pause a second, hit that subscribe button, and stick with us. Chris Herron. Chris Herron was a gifted point guard out of Massachusetts, quick, smart, and full of promise. He made it to the NBA playing for the Denver Nuggets and later his hometown Boston Celtics. But while the crowd cheered his talent, few knew his life was spiraling behind the scenes. After just one game at Boston College, he failed a drug test for cocaine and left the school. He got a second chance at Fresno State under coach Jerry Tarkanian. On the court, he delivered, but off it, addiction never let go. He missed the entire 1997-98 season to enter rehab. In 1999, Herron finally made it to the NBA. First the Nuggets, then the Celtics. But injuries and painkillers consumed him. He wasn't getting ready for games. He was chasing drugs on street corners. Then came the crash in 2008. High on heroin, he slammed into a pole and was pronounced clinically dead for 30 seconds. That moment changed everything. Since then, Chris has stayed clean. He founded Hoop Dreams to guide young athletes, wrote his memoir, Basketball Junkie, and shared his journey in ESPN's Unguarded, laying bare his battle with addiction and his path to redemption. Jason Williams. Jason wasn't your average big man. He brought fire every time he stepped on the floor. Drafted in 1990 by the Phoenix Suns, he rose to fame with the New Jersey Nets, becoming one of the league's most aggressive and high-energy big men. In 1998, he reached the peak of his career with an all-star selection. Williams' career hit a devastating halt on April 1st, 1999. In a freak collision with teammate Stephon Marbury during a game against the Atlanta Hawks, he broke his right leg, an injury that changed everything. Just a day later, he was in surgery, where doctors inserted a plate and 5 screws into his leg. That moment didn't just sideline him, it ended his NBA journey for good. In 2002, during what should have been a simple house tour at his New Jersey mansion, Williams was showing off a shotgun he believed was unloaded. The gun went off, killing his limousine driver, Costas Gus Christofi. It was a devastating accident, but instead of coming clean, Williams tried to cover it up. He was hit with obstruction of justice charges and later convicted of aggravated assault. In 2010, he was sentenced to prison and served 27 months behind bars. Since walking out of prison in 2012, Jason hasn't hidden from his past. He's been open about his deep regret and the mental battles he's faced since that night. C and Javaris Crittenton. This wasn't some heated exchange or typical locker room drama. In 2009, things got real, and they got dangerous. Washington Wizards teammates Gilbert Arenas and Javaris Crittenton let a gambling dispute spiral completely out of control. What started as a heated argument over money turned into one of the most shocking moments in NBA history. Both players brought guns, yes, actual firearms, into the team locker room. Not on the street, not at home. Right inside the Wizards facility. The fallout was massive. The league came down hard. Arenas, once one of the NBA's brightest stars and fan favorites, got hit with a long suspension. He came back eventually, but he was never the same. The swagger was gone. The trust? Shattered. For Crittenton, it was worse. That moment ended his NBA career on the spot. What happened that day isn't just a wild headline. It's a brutal lesson. No matter how talented you are, one reckless choice can end it all, fast. Billy Ray Bates. Billy Ray Bates had raw, undeniable talent. People called him Black Superman because he played like one. Explosive dunks, fantastic scoring, and the kind of presence that lit up every arena. But while the crowd saw a star, behind the scenes, he was battling demons he couldn't shake. Even he admitted, "I had it all in the palm of my hand and I let it slip away." Alcohol followed him through his career and got worse after it ended. Then came the breaking point, January 17th, 1998. After downing half a pint of vodka, Bates wasn't looking to party. He said he just wanted to play the lottery. But instead, drunk and desperate, he grabbed a knife and tried to rob a Texaco gas station to get money for cocaine. Hours later, police found him passed out face down on someone's lawn. He was arrested that same day and later convicted of first and second-degree assault. The result? Nearly 5 years in a New Jersey prison. But when he got out, Bates tried to turn it around. "Everyone said I'd be nothing but a drunk or an addict," he told the Oregonian. But they were wrong. People can change, and I have. Even so, his story remains one of the NBA's most painful, not because he lacked talent, but because addiction stole his shot at greatness when he had everything going for him. Darrell Allums. Darrell Allums had the world in his hands. A standout at UCLA, a short NBA stint with the Mavericks, a global basketball journey that took him to the Philippines and Switzerland. He lived the dream most only fantasize about. However, that dream came crashing down most unbelievably. In 1989, Allums wasn't in a jersey. He was out robbing stores and pizza delivery drivers to feed his cocaine addiction. It all started after a brutal knee injury ended his pro career. No more games, no more paychecks. When the money ran dry and the fame faded, desperation took over. He went from being on SportsCenter to hitting up Target stores for quick cash. But the real twist? He was busted trying to buy just two $20 rocks of cocaine from an undercover cop. Instead of turning things around, he doubled down. While still on probation, he began robbing Domino's delivery drivers repeatedly. The final straw came when he tried to hit the same guy he'd robbed a few nights earlier. This time, the driver recognized him, called the cops, and boom, they tracked Allums down through the getaway car. Allums, shockingly, acted as his lawyer in court and said, "I am not a robber, I am innocent of these crimes." But jurors didn't buy it. With 14 robbery charges hanging over his head, he was found guilty on 8 counts and sentenced to 9 years in state prison. From college glory to robbing pizza guys, Darrell Allums is a wild, painful reminder of how fast it can all spiral out of control. Jack Molinas. Jack Molinas wasn't just a basketball player, he was a walking headline. In the late 1950s and early 60s, his shady game-fixing schemes were so massive that ESPN later called that era the Molinas period. Yeah, it was that bad. Now, this guy wasn't your average troublemaker. According to his biographer, Charlie Rosen, Molinas wore a lot of dark hats. He was a sharp lawyer, a stock market genius, a high-stakes gambler, a loan shark, a pornographer, and maybe even a killer. The New York Times didn't mince words either, branding him the Mephistopheles of college sports. That's the devil, for those keeping score. It all started when the NBA booted him out for gambling on and against his team, the Fort Wayne Pistons, and it got worse fast. In 1961, Molinas was busted with 37 others in a huge college basketball scandal. He was the ringleader, paying off players to throw games. He ended up behind bars for 5 years out of a 10 to 15 year sentence. But Jack didn't regret a thing. He even said, "My so-called crimes hadn't hurt anybody except some bettors and some bookies." Bold words for a guy digging his own grave. And that grave came calling in 1975. Molinas was shot in the head right outside his home. Just like that, the game he thought he was controlling took its final turn and ended his life. From Chris Herron's heart stopping for 30 seconds to Jack Molinas getting shot in the head, these aren't just stories of downfall. These are wake-up calls. Every one of these players had the talent, the fame, the platform, and still, they lost it all because of choices that spiraled out of control. Whether it was drugs, crime, ego, or a moment of recklessness, each downfall was preventable. That's what makes it all hit even harder. Chris Herron turned his pain into purpose. Jason Williams faced his demons. Billy Ray Bates, Gilbert Arenas, Crittenton, Allums, they all serve as powerful reminders. Your legacy isn't built on talent alone. It's shaped by what you do when life starts falling apart. So, what do you think? Whose downfall shocked you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you find these stories eye-opening, hit that like button, subscribe for more raw NBA breakdowns, and turn on notifications so you never miss a story that needs to be told.